How good was a prime Thierry Henry? The perfect and simplest answer would be unstoppable. The Frenchman was an artist of a striker. More than half of the goals he scored should be framed and hung in a gallery. Well, that's a bit of a stretch, but you get the picture right. Thierry Henry was extraordinary. He holds the title of Arsenal's all-time top scorer and held a similar title for France until recently when Olivier Giroud toppled him, and will always remain a serious contender for the Premier League's all-time greatest player. Fast, elegant, and creative, he was the ultimate striker, a true legend of the game. But did you know that he was not always this good? Yep, you heard that right. This is his story, from the housing projects of Paris to the glittering lights of North London's Highbury. Henry was born in August 1977 in the Parisian town of Les Ulis, a suburb where other stars of the game such as Patrice Evra and Anthony Martial also grew. He started at AS Monaco, but was there for just a year before he switched to WS Viry-Châtillon and played there for 2 years. It was here that Arnaud Catalano, an AS Monaco coach, scouted a young Henry. On this particular day, he was sent to watch a match in which Henry's team was playing. The home team won 6-0, and guess who scored all the goals? A 13-year-old boy named Thierry Daniel Henry. Catalano was convinced Thierry would go straight into the Monaco team, no trials needed. That's how he signed for Monaco Academy. And guess who was at the helm of Monaco at the time? Arsène Wenger, the legendary manager who had an eye for young talent in football. Wenger was in the market for a forward who could replace George Weah, and he trusted a young Henry. The youngster was played on the left wing, with Wenger believing his skill, pace and ball control would help him flourish against fullbacks and the physically imposing centre-backs. He made his debut for Monaco in August 1994 in a 2-0 defeat against Nice. He stayed with the club for a number of seasons and was instrumental as they won the League One in 1996, scoring 9 goals in 36 games. It was the same year that he was also named the French Young Footballer of the Year. The following season was a good one as well for Thierry and Monaco, as they reached the UEFA Champions League semi-finals and got the whole world talking about his ability when he confirmed his talents in France's 1998 World Cup win on home soil. After the World Cup, it seemed as if Monaco had become too small for Thierry. He had scored a total of 28 goals in 156 appearances. Monaco were reluctant to sell, and somehow Henry found himself at Juventus in the Serie A, playing under Marcello Lippi and a young Carlo Ancelotti. But Henry soon realized the Serie A landscape was not the right fit for his talents. Forced to play as a left winger, he was forced to track back attackers and put in a more defensive display. He was not cut for this, and he soon lost his spot to Zambrotta. This was a blessing in disguise, as Wenger, who was now head coach at Arsenal, came to rescue him. The 1999-2000 season marked the beginning of a beautiful story between Thierry Henry and Arsenal, an 8-year spell during which the Frenchman played his best football at the tip of the spear. Upon his arrival in North London, he was tasked with an almost impossible task: to replace the Gunners' highest goal scorer, Ian Wright, who had amassed 185 goals. This is a player who wasn't even sure he could score. Remember, he'd been playing on the wing all through his life. One day, I decided to play him through the middle. I said, look, take the ball through the middle, we'll give you some passes, go ahead and score. Henry said, you can play me through the middle, but I can't score goals. Overall, his beginnings with Arsenal were difficult. Then, on 18 September 1999, the Frenchman scored his first Arsenal goal against Southampton. It marked the first of many. He was unstoppable after that. He could score every type of goal: close range, long range, going around the keeper, cutting defenses like a surgeon scalpel, inventing his own moves along the way, faking passes with one foot to do it with the other. He did things his way. He made the left wing his habitat. He could stay on the line before cutting inside and speed off to the goal. He was equally dangerous in the box. In a similar way, he was 20 yards off it. His odd positioning meant he could create space and chances for his teammates to benefit from. His first year with the Gunners saw him score 26 goals in 47 matches. He then won the Euro 2000 with France, his second consecutive title with the national team, where he was also the top scorer with 3 goals. The 2000-2001 campaign proved to be similar, if not better compared to the first one in terms of numbers. He registered 26, so 22 Premier League goals in the first and 26 in the second. The boy was off to a good start. The good play and the titles with the national team were coming, but if there was one thing that still eluded him, it was the titles with Arsenal. 2 runners-up finish and 2 lost finals. Finally, the reward came in the form of a Premier League and FA Cup double with a 2-0 win over Chelsea. The Frenchman finished the season as the league's top scorer, amassing 32 goals in all competitions. Tables had turned now. His form was not enough to lead France to a 3rd title as they suffered a shock group stage elimination at the 2002 World Cup. Then came the 2002-03 season, which was arguably his best in terms of performances, scoring 32 goals and assisting 28 in all competitions. The goals, though, were not enough to help Arsenal retain the league title, but they retained the FA Cup crown, and Henry won the Player of the Year award and became the first player in the 21st century to score more than 20 goals and 20 assists in a single season in all 5 major leagues. If you thought those 2 seasons were special for Henry, then nothing could have prepared the world of football for what was to come during the 2003-04 season. It will be remembered as the season that saw the best performance ever by a team in the history of English soccer. Arsenal became the famous Invincibles after going through the entire season without losing a single match, something that had never been seen since the league's inception more than a century earlier. 38 games, 26 wins, 12 draws, and 0 defeats. A perfect year. Thierry Henry had once again surpassed the natural, scoring phenomenal 39 goals and 18 assists. He also picked up his 2nd PFA Player of the Year award and was also 2nd again in the FIFA World Player of the Year award. It did not end there, he also won his first golden shoe as a professional. Thierry Henry, the boy from a little-known French town, had reached his peak of form. He was the face of an Arsenal side that was perhaps the best side in Premier League history, led by Wenger. The Invincibles called themselves the Invincibles. Henry's numbers during that season were insane. Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo made such numbers normal for us, but Henry was doing it before them. Which begs the question, why doesn't Henry have a Ballon d'Or? Well, for sure, this is one of those cases you might never find an answer to. Not a satisfying one, at least. The 2003-04 season was a pretty weird season in football. This is the year Porto won the Champions League and Greece lifted the Euros. Still, why Shevchenko won the Ballon d'Or and Henry came 4th escapes us. Well, this is not the only time that we can't find a satisfying explanation. During that time, Henry and Arsenal became arguably the best playing side in Europe football. Their brand of football was eye-catching, electrifying style with direct counter-attack, mixed with the first-touch possession. They were Pep Guardiola's team of 2009 or Jose Mourinho's Real Madrid. They were that good. In the 2005-06 season, Henry was named Arsenal captain following the departure of Patrick Vieira. It's this season that he also surpassed Ian Wright's 185-goal record for the Gunners. It was a good year, but there was also a final test for the Gunners side, lifting the Champions League, and Henry set his mind to it. He wanted to lift this prestigious trophy. He put on show after show in the knockout stage as the Gunners marched on, silencing the Santiago Bernabeu, and every match was better than the last one. And after seeing off Juan Riquelme's Villarreal, Arsenal were in the finals in Paris against the upcoming powerhouse of football, FC Barcelona. This is a Barcelona side that had the likes of Ronaldinho, Deco, Iniesta, the debutant Messi, and they came up against the Invincibles. Despite Henry's best efforts, it wasn't enough for the Gunners to lift the title. One football dynasty made way for the next. Despite suffering the heartbreak, Henry finished as the league's top scorer, was voted Footballer of the Year, and was, for the first time, selected in the FIFA World 11. The Gunners played their last match at Highbury that season, and their failure to win the title in 2 seasons, coupled with relative inexperience in the Arsenal team, left the Frenchman's future at the club in doubt. He allayed those fears though, signed a new 4-year contract and promised to stay at Arsenal for life. Henry's 8th and final season in London was one to forget. He suffered recurrent injuries and managed to score just 12 goals and 6 assists. Despite his earlier promise, in June 2007, Henry left Arsenal, with his next adventure taking him to Barcelona, the newly anointed best team in the world. The Frenchman, accustomed to using his skill to the benefit of the team, proved a perfect fit for Barca's transition into the greatest team in modern history. He became a left winger under Guardiola, the man, he says, taught him football again. Henry prospered at the Camp Nou. He was part of that Barcelona side that conquered the sextuple, winning all titles on the list. That year, however, ended with a controversy of his handball goal that knocked Ireland out in the World Cup playoffs and booked a place for Le Blues at the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. Just like at Arsenal, his last season at Barcelona in 2009-10 was one to forget. He finished with just 4 goals in all competitions. And after 3 years in Spain, he headed for MLS with the New York Red Bulls, becoming the highest paid player in the league. He showed the whole country what football was like, scoring 52 goals and 42 assists in just 135 games, and won the supporters a shield. He was the main man again, impressing everyone with his set of different skills. Most importantly, he helped MLS improve its image and take a leap in quality. The likes of David Beckham, Andrea Pirlo, and Frank Lampard joined later. Henry scored over 400 goals to become the all-time top scorer for country, and Arsenal won 2 Premier League titles, a World Cup, the Euro, 2 La Liga championships, and the FIFA Club World Cup. He is one of the biggest names in the game and possibly the best player ever in Premier League history. His skill, panache, infinite coolness, and immeasurable talent made him an enduring character to every football fan, regardless of which team they supported. That was his story. Wait, it's not complete yet. There's one final chapter, the return of the king. On January 6, 2012, Thierry Henry decided to go back to Arsenal for one last goodbye. It was a 2-month loan and he wanted to make it count. On his re-debut, Henry scored a memorable goal against Leeds United, booking a place for the Gunners in the last 32 of the FA Cup. The crowd at the Emirates went berserk, and according to Henry himself, that will remain his favourite goal for the Gunners. He would score one more, a winner at Sunderland in stoppage time, before heading back to MLS. It was the perfect ending. Just ask any Arsenal fan.